hello, and welcome to the show at Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
Ooh, got my wine, got my fireplace, got my fuck Elon shirt on. It's a good night.
And it was a good week for Wrestling With, as we interviewed Danny G on Monday, DJ The Disaster on Tuesday, and Isaiah Valencia on Wednesday. Three unique, different interviews. Cannot recommend them enough. Definitely go into the archives to check those out if you haven't already. This upcoming Tuesday, April 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke, we have Izael. Up in Canada, haven't had a Canadian interview for quite some time. We talk about being one of the first ladies of her company, being the first person to win the women's championship in that promotion 3 times, wrestling and beating Nicole Matthews, her relationship with LuFisto, being a part of a documentary with LuFisto, and a lot of wrestling under a mask, and a lot more. Definitely a really interesting and fun interview for sure. This upcoming Wednesday, we have Jake Braddock's, currently wrestling in Japan. Came back to the States for a couple shows. He was trained by Laurentis X and Congo Khan, friends of the show. We talk about that, his matches against both individuals, with a couple of interesting stories to add to those matches as well. We talk about his time in Japan, getting Japan, even speaking some Japanese himself. Plus, we talk about his tattoos, and a hell of a lot more. There's definitely a lot of fun content in that one. Jake has stories for days. So you definitely want to check that on Wednesday, but don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. I actually walked under a mask, no?
Yeah, the first 6 months of my career, I had a mask.
What was that experience like, walking under a mask?
Worst decision of my life. It's so hard to breathe, to concentrate on your match, because you're always trying. I did not have like a whole head of a mask. It was like kind of half, just the face, and like my hair was out, so it was just like something that was clipping in my neck and something in my hair just to hold that on. But sorry, it was not great. I had a couple of weeks ago, I had to wear it again for a special occasion, and there, I hate wrestling with a mask on.
It became my go-to in Japan at one of my favorite. It basically became like my second home. This pub in Otsuka, Japan, called Republic. It's an Irish bar in Tokyo. So, and the guy that owns it, his name is Mogi, really cool guy. Most of the regulars there became like family to me. They helped me out a lot, especially with like getting acclimated to the country. They helped me set up my first Japanese bank account and all that. They helped me navigate some of that stuff. But the guy that owns the bar is Irish, or he's Japanese, but he lived in Ireland for about 10 years. So when he speaks English with an Irish accent. So when I went in there for the first time, I went up to the bar and I ordered in Japanese. He then looks me up down a couple times, and he just gets a big smile on his face and he's like, "You realize I speak English, you fucker?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
All right, and then on April 8th we have Bad Bad Batty. On the 9th we have Eurasian Dragon. The 15th we have the Stoner Brothers. On the 16th we have Murillo, D'Angelo. On the 23rd we have Jake DeLeon. So yeah, April already looking like a great month for Wrestling Wit as we enter WrestleMania season. WrestleMania month, woohoo! Meaning it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And it happened last night on SmackDown. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns will be main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania. It kind of felt like it was Jey Uso's main event to lose, considering how lackluster his rivalry with Gunther has been. I believe we talked about this last week on the show, what was going to main event WrestleMania Night 1. Well, we got our answer. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. How do you feel about it, Kaliko?
I mean, I called it. Hey, ain't surprising to me. Like, I mean, it's nothing new to me. I mean, because I get the whole Jay Gunther, and let's keep in mind that title didn't main event last year either. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? So for people who feel upset about it, that was the opener match night 2 of last year.
Right.
So technically, Seth had a back-to-back match. When you think about it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But so he was the main event night 1, opener night 2. I mean, that dude can motor. Anyways, but back to the Punk thing, it makes sense because you want the matches that main event that has the most consequences to them to main event. And out of all the matches on the docket, there's only 2 matches that have like super unique consequences. I would say that the triple threat match has a bigger consequence to it than the Cody Cena match.
In what way?
Because the different ways it can go left. You have the suspense of Heyman seeing 2 people he mentored his whole, mentored within the last 10, 15 years going head to head to each other. He's torn. This isn't like him and when he was doing it with Solo, it was different because he was always Team Roman. But this is different because it's not just CM Punk the wrestler. This is CM Punk the friend. This is CM Punk the mentor-mentee relationship. Because keep in mind, that relationship has a deeper history than Roman and Paul. If you paid attention to the documentary, the Best in the World documentary,
right?
Like Punk owes everything to Paul, so that's why it's intriguing because it's that, and you have that element of it, and then you add in the element of Seth and Roman never really settling that thing 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. So that's why I say it's the match with the bigger consequences because it's a lot of grudges people are trying to settle.
Well,
and that to me makes more trauma. There's more trauma infused into it. Natural, and then not even factoring in the fact that Punk and Rollins were cool, and now they're not cool. So it's everyone has a hate to each other on a certain level, and everyone has a personal grudge on a personal level. So that's why it's the most consequential match. It has the highest stakes because now it's bigger than just winning the match. Winning the match might be secondary at this point in that feud.
I understand it because what was supposed to be in that position, didn't necessarily get that position. I'm just personally, I feel like the main event of WrestleMania should be, a title match rather than, a feud match. Well, yes, the story is strong between all three guys, yeah. It does feel like it was Seth versus Punk, and they kind of shoehorned Roman in there because they didn't necessarily have a story for Roman. And while, I mean, that's okay, it does seem like it, I don't want to say it seems forced that they put them in the situation that they're in, but it could have been handled maybe better than it was.
Well, then, if that's the case, 39, you might as well keep in mind, 39 was the main event night one.
Tag Team Championships.
38, night one, main event.
I mean, it was Stone Cold in Texas.
It doesn't matter. Main event. What was the main event?
Stone Cold and Kevin Owens.
WrestleMania 40, night one, main event.
A tag team match with The Rock.
So, the last four WrestleManias? The last three WrestleManias? What, 38? Yeah, from 38 to now? Main event night, with the exception of 39 being a tag team match? See, that's where the Pandora's box got open. So I get your point, but that box was open in Texas. Regardless of what you think of Stone, I'll give you it's Stone Cold in Texas. However, they gave him the main event slot with fucking Kevin Owens.
And I feel like, I mean, the only reason the tag team match main evented 40 night one is because The Rock wanted to wrestle. I mean, there's no two ways about that. It wasn't because,
True.
I mean, something else could have taken that spot, but because The Rock has to be the main event, it had to be the main event. So,
but I mean, I get it, but that precedent got popped, and it's on. Because keep in mind that storyline had the most consequences to it. Because that consequence of night one pulls the consequence of night two, and in the sense that it was okay. Seth is fighting in this match knowing damn well he's got a title match tomorrow. Cody's fighting in this match knowing damn well Cody and Roman knowing that they got to fight tomorrow. So that's where, you see what I'm saying? So now it's a consequence. It's a thing of consequence now. And that's where I think night one is going to have a consequence. Because I could easily see the winner of that match being the number one contender for one of those titles. It's almost like a pseudo number one contender match.
I mean, I could see that. It kind of seems like it would be more towards Gunther than Cody, because last night on SmackDown it seemed like Randy and Drew already kind of got in line for that title. But
if it's Roman, it's Cody.
Oh yeah.
You can't. So that's my point. So if it's Seth, Seth is the only outlier that could pick one or the other because he has personal beef with Cody, but he also drew lineage for that title. So it would make, he's the only one where you pick it would be indifferent. Punk, it feels like it would be Cody. Roman, damn sure Cody. Seth is the only one where you can pick and it's indifferent.
I think that Punk could maybe go either way as well, but I mean he did wrestle Gunther on the not the independent, the live show circuit for
the house shows, yeah.
For the title. So I mean it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we would get Gunther Punk, on, a live setting. A film setting, that is.
True.
I will say this. It is probably the biggest match that it could be for night one, considering, the other stories that are happening. That being said, if Cody wasn't, number one Ichiban Sweet Boy, I wonder if him and Cena would have main evented night two, considering how lackluster John Cena's promos have been since he turned heel. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of content when it came to John Cena's promos as of late. It just seems like he's just complaining, saying trigger words to get people talking, 17-time champion, ruined pro wrestling. Oh, used to diss to me when it's been like 25 years since that happened. Like, get the fuck over it. I haven't been impressed, considering we know what John Cena could actually do as a heel rather than a face. But how have you felt about it?
It's awkward because it's. I kept telling people the main reason they did it was to keep Cody from going heel, like everyone was thinking it was going to be. And that was probably the biggest main event that they could get without going back to Roman and Cody 3. So to me, it made sense. It always makes sense.
But I mean, one of the main things about John Cena turning heel was that he aligned himself with The Rock. And I mean, we haven't even seen The Rock since Elimination Chamber. It just seems like, I don't know. That
maybe The Rock was just there to be a decoy, but I think he'll be involved at some point. And it's got to be something where Roman gets involved. So it's gonna happen.
I don't know. It just seems like, it feels like plans just keep changing up on the rivalry. Like, okay, this was the direction we needed to go. Oh no, we're going this direction now. Now we're going this direction. Now there's this direction. And now they're completely lost in the shuffle with the direction they were supposed to go in, and they don't know where they're going with it at this point.
No, I think it was just. Well, the problem is that it's the angle that they took. If this was John Cena going, you know what, I get it, but I'm so desperate to get 18 that I was willing to do anything for it, that would be an easier sell than what he's doing now.
Right. No, I agree with that completely.
Because, I mean, he basically talked up the whole time that he wants to do it because it's best for business and he wants to break the record. If he came with that energy off rip instead of just ripping on kids, because it's awkward. It's awkward because it's like, how can I put this? It's like a prostitute trying to arrest you in a prostitute uniform and coming up to you like she's a cop. And it's like, bro, you still got the uniform on of a hoe. You ain't no cop. But they're telling you I'm a cop and I'm about to arrest you. And you sit there going, well, you still got the uniform on. So John Cena's talking all this shit, but they done already made all these goddamn shirts for for his farewell tour. So it's awkward as shit. That's why it's awkward. It's awkward because it's a duck talking like a rhino, and it makes no goddamn sense.
Like the week when he first cut his first heel promo, if he would have came out in his jorts and his Cena attire, and my time is
the thug life shit.
My time is now. Okay, and then he says when he's cutting the promo, take a picture, because this is the last time I'm wearing all this shit, because I ain't this John Cena anymore. And then the next week on Raw, come out in a suit, have a different theme song, maybe the Peacemaker theme. Who knows? But it could have been. There's so much that they could have done. I feel like there's just so many missed opportunities. It could have been so good, and it just ended so badly. And I think this is like one of the first times we've said that when it comes to the new Triple H era. No?
Well, it's because motherfucker, they just made all these goddamn shirts for his farewell tour. So them bitches gotta say, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where they put themselves in the bind, right? If this was Cena, if Cena hadn't announced that this was his retirement and he wasn't going on a retirement tour, different story. But the fact that he's going on the retirement tour, therefore, they're going to want to get all the merch. Keep in mind, this motherfucker was in Brussels. Was it Brussels? No, it was in, Brussels and Glasgow.
Yeah.
People were still wearing his shit.
I mean, people are definitely still going to wear, John Cena shit.
No. The new shit.
Yeah.
That is particular. That's my point. That's why it's awkward. Because they're still trying to make a money grab with the merch while simultaneously telling this dude that he doesn't need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
That's the disconnect. Usually when you're a heel, you're not selling merch.
Unless you have really cool heel merch like Drew McIntyre did.
Yeah. But even then, that was out of spite. And people were, and then most people, Drew wasn't wrong. He was justified. It's a different story.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's like, well, you can't say he's a pissed off guy that doesn't need anybody while simultaneously telling me that, oh, here, buy this John Cena gear on WWEshop.com.
Well, keeping up with WrestleMania news, they announced a new inductee into the Hall of Fame, class of 2025. It is not an individual, but in a match. Stone Cold versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13 will be the first match inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm assuming Stone Cold and Bret Hart will be there to accept the match on their behalf. Well, I mean, they are them, so. Um, I kind of like the idea of them inducting matches at this point because you could get a big name on the Hall of Fame card. Because, like we were saying the last couple of weeks, it's getting thin with, people that could headline or people that are, big names that people will actually want to see. Um, so yeah, I don't think that it sucks that they're doing, matches now. One a year might be a bit of a stretch. Maybe induct a couple more matches just to kind of get things going. Um, should have been Stone Cold and The Rock, in my opinion. But I get what they went with what they went with. What say you, Kaliko?
This screams UFC.
Okay.
Because UFC did this a couple years ago with Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin, where they were the first match inducted into the Hall of Fame. The whole reason they were even inducted together was because of that match, or because of their fight. And I'm not against it. I'm not saying I'm not against it, but this just screams UFC whispering in the ear of WWE and going, hey, you get 2 matches. And they're like, oh shit, we got a 40-year history. Do you see what I'm saying? So so I get it. But you're gonna get a lot of 5-time inductees, and this is where it's gonna go, because like, where does it end? Because Shawn Michaels is gonna have a gang of them hoes.
Right.
And so is unless it's just specific WrestleMania matches, I mean, I can see if it's just WrestleMania matches.
I mean, it makes sense that they're doing WrestleMania matches, for at WrestleMania, but I mean, at some point they're gonna have to do another, you know, another PLE or pay preview. I mean, they had banger matches at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, all of the places. So, I mean, again, I don't know. It does just kind of feel like, they're drawing sit at the wall just to kind of see what sticks. We were talking off there. WrestleMania after party, WrestleMania roast, WrestleMania WrestleMania slot machines, WrestleMania hotel,
WrestleMania VIP meet and greet at the club. Like, nigga, what?
WrestleMania get your ass shaved.
I mean, I get it because it's Vegas, and people in Vegas has this. It's the Vegas propensity, because when you're in Vegas, you have a tendency to go fuck it. That's Vegas. Vegas in itself is a fucking city. Like, fuck it, it's Vegas. Spend your whole mortgage. Put your house on the line to meet Tiffany Stratton. Like, go for it. So they're pulling into that Vegas mentality. I personally think people are gonna complain like this. Like, remember when people were begging Vegas? Now they're like, fuck this shit.
I cannot financially recover from this.
It'll take you 5 years to recover from like a week in Vegas mania.
I mean, I don't think it's any secret that we live in California. I'm in Los Angeles. You're in San Diego. Las Vegas is a 3.5 hour car ride for me. It this should be, and you've traveled like all over the world, well, the country, to go to WrestleMania events, and it feels like, even though like this is only like 3.5 hours away, this is like the hardest Wrestle. Feels so far away to actually get to.
This is the most financially unattainable WrestleMania I've ever seen in my life. Long for the days that I wish that WWE Access was only $200 for Roman Reigns.
And the
$150 for Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? Longing those days.
and $150 for a picture and autograph, both. Now it's $150 for a picture or an autograph, 300 for both, and you have to get into 2 lines in order to get your shit. Yeah, that's a fucking lot to ask of somebody, especially considering how many more events are going on that week. Like, people need to leave. People need to eat. Like I just said, people need to eat. Like, the food is not
Hey,
included
Vegas
in
ain't
this.
cheap either. Vegas is not a cheap city to eat unless you go to the Taco Bell on the Strip. I mean,
White
maybe
Castle,
then.
McDonald's,
I mean, hotel food ain't cheap.
nothing is cheap.
Yeah, it's it's a killer.
Forget forget Las Vegas. Food in general is just not cheap. Like eggs are like $15.
Where the fuck you get your eggs from? $15. Like the bitches better be wholesale.
I mean, there's a shortage of eggs. Did you not know that?
I mean, I went to Costco here. They had them for like, I got like what, 3 cartons of 24 for $8 a piece. So,
Well, going from expensive food to cheap food, let's talk about Saraya. Um, she is officially no longer a part of AEW. Decided to leave. Um, and I mean, I understand why. They didn't necessarily treat her as good as she could have been, considering, who she is and what she's done for women's pro wrestling. Um, I would I would assume a WWE return is the best option for her. I think it would be on the horizon for her. But what say you, Kaliko?
man, she needs to take a year off. Just take a year off and chill. But AEW wasn't successful because she was always WWE girl. That's why. She got the Sasha Banks treatment before Sasha Banks got there.
I don't think that the people boo Sasha Banks because she's WWE. I think they boo Sasha Banks because she's the drizzling shits.
Well, no, I mean, both things can be true, but the first thing that they booed her for was the fact that she signed this big ass contract that was like, yeah, I see myself back in WWE one day. That is why. All that other shit's for the birds. And Saraya was the first person to do that. Because keep in mind, she was talking about WWE.
Well, I mean, the reason
when she first got there, and it never just caught on.
No, I think no. You're right. I mean, she was always a WWE person, and the AEW fans are so anti WWE, and so they're not exactly women's pro wrestling fans in general. They just they couldn't get past her. And I mean, her pro wrestling, her abilities wrestling didn't necessarily do her any favors as well. So I mean, it was all negative, honestly, unfortunately. But I think if she goes back to WWE, they know how to protect her. I mean, the only reason she went to AEW was because she wanted to wrestle, and they let her wrestle, while WWE didn't. Um, so I feel like if she goes back to WWE, she'll have a couple matches. They'll protect her. They know what her strengths and weaknesses are. It'll be okay.
I don't. Nah. I just, to me, chill out. Don't even trip chocolate chip. Take some time out. Figure out what you want to do, and then come back. Because the landscape that she's coming back to now is not the landscape that she left.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, Shawn Michaels.
Because who's to say when Paige comes back, she's going to be in front of the line? Because that goddamn bakery, between the bakery and NXT alone, I mean, the main roster, she might get a couple spots. She could get there, but is she above Jade Cargill? And that's the baseline. That's baseline.
But I mean, she's. I don't want to say she's grandfathered in, but she went there before. I mean, it's not like she's a new, fresh face that. Well, I mean, she does have a new fresh face, but that's another story completely. Um, it's people know who she is, and probably a lot of these girls do want to wrestle her because they grew up seeing her wrestle. So I feel like there's a spot for her.
The fact that you said that they grew up seeing a 19-year-old wrestle, but this ain't the sorority sisters.
I mean, if she started, came on the main roster in 20. Well, no, she was doing this shit with Emma in
2014, 2013, and then 2014 she made the roster.
Yeah, so
she did.
That was 10 years ago, Kaliko.
Yes.
Think about this.
She's damn near 30.
I mean, what is her name? Fuck it.
Tiffy time.
No, Cora Jade. She's only like 23, so she would have been 10 at the time. Huh. Gigi Dolan is.
Good point.
Gigi Dolan would have been in her teens. So I mean, these girls grew up watching her. I mean, it was a decade ago. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it.
So I feel like if they give her the Trish Stratus treatment, where she comes in, she does a rivalry, and then she goes away for a while, comes back doing a rivalry, put over a goal, I think that would do her wonders. I don't see Paige doing a full, a full-time run again.
That girl is not. She's chilling. She wants to chill. She's like, fuck it, we chilling.
Well, somebody that's doing nothing but chilling is one Mandy Rose. She recently did an interview, and she mentioned that she feels somewhat erased by WWE, because she felt like she was a big part of WWE at the time, had a decent NXT run, and she's not necessarily mentioned a lot in the history books or picked up. also but we'll get into the second part first, later. But I mean, I feel like the reason is they're not mentioning her a lot is, oh, you say, hey, Mandy Rose was this champion. Well, oh, who's Mandy Rose? Let's Google Mandy Rose. And then you see Mandy Rose naked online. It's still, despite being in a new product, a new era, it's still a family-friendly product. And Mandy Rose doesn't make family-friendly content. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a choice that she made. You can't. I mean, you can't make the choice and then get mad that they respect your choice and go, okay, we'll just fade you in the black.
I mean, they didn't respect her choice. They straight up fired her for her choice.
Well, they fired her. Well, no. Well, they fired her for her choice. But the point I'm making is that they kindly asked her to stop, and she said, "Fuck that."
Yeah, I'm making more money doing this than wrestling, and
yeah. So now you deal with the trade off. It's a trade off. You deal with that trade off. You make more monies, but now your history in WWE is not mentioned as much. Could it change? Sure. Will it though?
probably not.
And that's the point I'm making. It's a trade off. It's a choice. It's happened to all the wrestlers, even without OnlyFans. You think they were mentioning the Ultimate Warrior before they made amends with Ultimate Warrior?
Right.
They didn't even mention Bruno Sammartino until they got that fool with Bruno Sammartino. So who the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So it comes with that territory.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And she mentioned, she never technically retired. She never officially hung up her boots, and she hasn't decided if she wants to get in the ring again or not. Obviously any independent would take her at this point.
If she went independent right now, if she really cared about and that's the other thing too, because if you really cared about the wrestling, you would have been in the Cody route.
Right. But she, like I said, she said that she hasn't decided what she's going to do, wrestling wise again. But I can't imagine, her doing what she's doing right now, that WWE is going to take her back and, with, open arms and, hey, you're a part of the family, even though, you show your titties online.
I mean, it can happen. I'm not going to say it's impossible. What I am going to say is that shit is bad hard with all that shit now. It's bad hard. You made it bad hard, son.
I mean, as long as she's continuing doing OnlyFans, WWE isn't going to touch her with a 10-foot pole. That's the reality of the matter.
That is the reality.
She's not the exception to the rule. She's not, she doesn't get special treatment. It's a family-friendly product. It's not going to happen. You could get away with saying fuck on TV once in a while. You're never going to get away with an actual fucking.
I mean, they barely mention China.
Right.
Come on now. Like, this ain't nothing new.
No, it absolutely isn't.
I mean, if it wasn't under the umbrella of the WWE, they're not mentioning you. Hell, they don't even mention who they don't mention any of the women that they put on Playboy.
I'm not sure. Troy Wilson Person went into the Hall of Fame.
Other than Tori.
Candice Michelle made a few appearances a couple of years ago. Christy Hemme hasn't.
But it's not like a every week. Oh well, yeah. Let's remind them when we had Candice Michelle doing plays.
I mean, very true. Who else was on Playboy?
China, Sable,
Yeah, they're not.
Marissa, or is it Alyssa?
What is her name? Maria Kanellis.
Maria Kanellis. Yep.
Yeah, and Christy Hemme.
Yep.
But I mean, in WWE's defense, they haven't mentioned Christy Hemme since 2005, so probably not an amicable split if I'm being completely honest. So yeah. The second gripe that Mandy Rose had was that obviously they're mentioning Stephanie Rakura as the first double champion in NXT. It's a big deal. She just defended both championships in the same night last week on NXT, a feat that Becky Lynch nor Seth Rollins had done before. So, I mean, obviously the rocket is strapped to her ass. But Mandy Rose says, well, didn't I unify the United Kingdom NXT Championship and the NXT Women's Championship? Doesn't that make her double champion?
No. Because the one word you just said.
What did I say?
Unify.
Unified, yeah.
Yeah, it usurped the title. That doesn't mean that you were double champion. The winner was just a undisputed champion.
Yeah, I mean, clearly
Because
WWE felt the same way about it.
No, seriously. I mean, because these belts are, by that measure, then Cody is still Universal and WWE champion instead of undisputed champion.
Right. Well, I mean, you can't not make people feel the way that they feel, I suppose.
You know what I'm saying? So I get the argument people are making, but the problem with NXT.
People are not making the argument. Only Mandy Rose is making this argument.
Oh no, some people make the argument, but NXT and NXT UK were two separate things.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not a double champion. It's not like they were never. It's like Jack in the Box, right?
Okay.
Yes, it's one company, but they had two different shits going on with their menu. They had a UK menu and an American menu.
Kind of like
just because you did.
It's kind of like
you know what I'm saying?
Big Mac and the Crown Royal.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And it's like two different. It was two totally different subjects because the North American title was not on an NXT UK show. NXT UK used to be its own thing.
Right.
We forget like Gunther, Dragunov. That's the only reason Ilya Dragunov even sniffs a title.
I mean, the whole unification thing was because they were dissolving NXT UK, so it wasn't going to necessarily be a thing anymore.
Right.
So
yeah.
Obviously, she feels the way that she feels.
Has every right to.
Yeah.
Has every right to feel.
Maybe we'll see her in pro wrestling again.
She ain't going to pro wrestling, man. She making 10 times as much doing 80, 90% less of the work.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that she doesn't love it. I just think that she was willing to her willingness to make more money without bumping, and she says it. You can't sit there and complain. Oh well, I make all this money. You can't brag and go, well, I get 10 times as much money as I did in WWE without bumping, and then go, well, but I still want to be recognized for all the bumping I did.
Right.
It's. I mean, we can do it. I mean, the smart fan will do it. Like we'll do it, but the casual fan is not going to be like. Casual fan gonna be like, oh yeah, look at these OnlyFans.
I mean, I respect that she got in the ring, but I mean,
Yeah.
she was champion in NXT when NXT was at its literally lowest point.
All the Fatal Attraction was carrying it though.
Well, you know.
And then she lost to who? Roxanne? Was it Roxanne Perez?
I believe so. Roxanne won.
She literally lost to the motherfucker who ended up carrying that division for the next year and a half. So I'm just telling you.
Oh.
Shawn Michaels had that coming the whole way. He saw that shit coming a mile.
You can't say Shawn Michaels isn't a smart man. You know, obviously somebody that might want to get into pro wrestling hasn't decided what they want to do yet. And to somebody that straight up got fired. Gail Kim was a part of TNA's talent, not talent development, talent relations. There we go. Talent relations, and TNA fired her after, you know, she's been there for what, like 20 years?
20 years.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like it's been about 20.
Yeah.
It's a cool 20.
So, I mean, definitely an end of an era. I mean, like I've said before, she, you know, spearheaded women's pro wrestling. She made women's pro wrestling cool before it was ever talked about. So, I mean, her legacy is definitely secure. I feel like TNA was obviously her home. But that being said, where does Gail Kim kind of go from here?
Well, she's not wrestling.
Yeah. I would say she's semi-retired.
Training at the bakery's full. I mean, AEW needs her. They need her bad. They need her bad because it's Tony Storm. When it comes, well, I'll put it this way: when it comes to personality stars, it's Tony Storm and then everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they need to work on.
Well, first and foremost, I think that she would thrive in, you know, NXT, you know, teaching the girls. You know, they might actually get a new edge that they didn't necessarily have because of Gail Kim. Because she was just, you know, on that other level. She would do wonders for the company for sure. But like you said, AEW desperately needs a Gail Kim to kind of spearhead, you know, their women's division, develop it, get people over. The problem with that is the AEW culture. You know, as long as Tony is number one, and you know, these girls think that they know better. No shade to Gail Kim, but I highly doubt a lot of those girls know who Gail Kim is.
I doubt that. I think they would know who Gail Kim.
You'd be surprised, I'd say, probably. You want to put faith in them, but I mean, it's AEW, so. The culture is just too. if they let her, if they hear her out and they do what she says, then yeah, she could work out really well in AEW and make that division thrive. But if they're not, then she isn't. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a William Regal situation.
A Mark Henry situation.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but if nobody's listening, it doesn't really matter.
Falls on deaf ears.
Falls on their ears.
Yeah.
Well, we're.
Oh.
Oh, what was you gonna say?
I mean, Tony's just going to give her that authority.
Yeah. Tony's not giving anybody authority.
Oh God.
Nobody gets authority except Tanya.
Lord help us.
He says, "Whatever, I'll do what I want."
I do what I want. I do what I want. Whatever.
And what he wanted to do was assign Mina Shirakawa to a AEW contract. Kind of thought she was already a part of AEW, but obviously it wasn't official.
Had that girl freelancing.
Yeah. Personal opinion, Shawn Michaels dropped the ball. We could have definitely, I think we could have definitely used Mina and the bakery. Just add a new layer to that cake, in my opinion.
Needed some Japanese bombs, some bonbons.
Oh yeah. But I digress. It seems like she was valued in AEW, and obviously people really enjoy watching her wrestle, for obvious reasons.
Yes.
So I don't think she'll have a problem, getting over. I mean, she's already over like Rover.
Yeah, she's over. So I mean that, and plus she's probably there because it's comfort.
Right. But again,
it's a comfort zone.
We could have used her in the bakery. A big what if.
I mean that bakery's filled, man. Jada Parker and the core alone fills that bakery.
And you don't think Mina could have took that bakery by the throat and showed what she could do? With her bubbly?
No, because Jada would have got hood on her and be like, "Nigga, get your ass." Oh Lord.
Well, obviously Mina is going to AEW. Congratulations to her on that. If you watched AEW Dynamite, I don't know why you would do that. We usually watch it so you don't have to.
Damn. I watch it for the love of the game.
Powerhouse Hobbs and I think it was Brian Cage. I don't fucking remember. They had a pull apart, and security came to break them up. If you were paying attention to the security guards, one of them was a one Ron Ragnar. His first outside of WWE appearance, I believe.
Man, get that bread. I mean, but that goes to show he does it for the love. So, I mean, I can't even knock him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he didn't come in saying, "Oh, I'm going to be a part of the male model crap." I mean, his forehead won't allow him to be a male model.
The Eminem?
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't even know why I brought this up. Because Ron Ragnar literally equals, like, nothingness. So...
He's somebody. How dare you?
I mean, maybe he could do better than Parker LaRue or LaRouche or whatever his name was, but I mean, he has all the personality of a wet cardboard box. So I mean, I'm not sure if that's a plus or negative in AEW's eye. I don't remember him actually going when it came to ring work. I feel like he would have been a better suit for TNA, but maybe I'm just sitting on TNA for no reason.
Yeah, you're just like piling on TNA. Yeah, everybody should just go to TNA or leave TNA and fuck TNA.
I mean,
Like, holy shit.
I mean, there's no reason to say fuck TNA. Well, I mean, other than them firing Gail Kim, I'd say.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Gail Kim got you, man. Gail Kim got you by the heartstrings, huh?
I mean, a lot of people love Gail Kim, so I mean, it's not like she doesn't have a fan base.
Wow, that is true.
Yeah.
I mean, but I know you have a special affinity for Gail Kim, so I get it. I get it.
I don't think I have a special opinion. I just think I have a reasonable opinion.
The opinion.
I was going to say a reasonable opinion on her, considering her body of work.
I think her work was good. I'm not knocking it. Yeah, right.
Somebody that wants to enter somebody's body of work is a one RVD. Did an interview, nothing to, cause room and innuendo. But he said that if he did come back to NXT, he would like to manage Kalani Jordan. Kaliko, your thoughts on that?
I mean, for what?
I agree, but what has Kalani really been doing as of late, anyway?
She's locked. I mean, it ain't my fault that the bakery done like Vakor literally just came in. Yeah, that thunder gone. I'm just saying that thunder gone. I knew when Vakor got there, it was crap.
I mean, there's still a women's division. There are other girls do wrestle there other than Vakor.
But the fact that they got Vakor out here whooping both motherfuckers' asses on the same night, that tells me she's about to Debo this shit.
Right.
So that's why I said what I said. Kalani's good. I mean, Kalani has the athletic skill set in which RVD could do. My problem is RVD is this RVD was never really known as a promo guy.
Not in WWE, but I mean he cut some solid promos in ECW, I'd say.
Oh no, that was Bill Alfonso. I mean, he spoke some shit, but it wasn't like RVD. RVD wasn't lining up like Stone Cold Steve Austin in ECW.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I could see him managing her as in like giving her usage of his moveset, which would be cool, like a mentorship type deal. But speaking for her,
I mean, since Kalani lost the title, the North American title, she has been floundering. She kind of went crazy on NXT, so there's not necessarily a lot for her to do right now. So I mean,
she lost it. Then she had the little feud, with Jada and Lola. It was like the whole triangle because of Fallon. Because remember, Fallon was the key of the reason why everybody was beefing. But then Fallon ran into that buzzsaw known as Vakor. See, this is what I keep telling you, Vakor is out here Deboing motherfuckers.
All roads lead to Vakor.
Vakor just basically ended a whole storyline.
Yeah. Speaking of storylines, a new pro wrestler has emerged on Monday Night Raw, and his name is El Grande Americano. He's from
Oh,
the
Jesus
Gulf.
Christ.
He's from the Gulf of America.
Oh, America.
I took it for what it's worth. It's a heel doing heel shit in, a funny manner that you don't necessarily need to take too seriously, but that doesn't stop people from taking it too seriously.
Seriously, especially in a this screams Vince McMahon shit. That's why.
It's tongue in cheek, I'd say. It's still fun.
Tongue in cheek, my ass. It screams Vince McMahon shit. Not saying that it's right or wrong or indifferent. It gives some shit Vince McMahon would do.
I mean, it's still WWE at the end of the day. So, I mean, they do stupid shit. They've done stupid shit like this before. They're doing stupid shit like this again. I'm not mad at it. I kind of like it. I think it's funny. I want to see where it goes. Do you think that people are just not... people may be overreacting that, it's more than it necessarily is, making them out of a molehill. Or do you...
I mean, I see the point you're making. I just know the political climate that they're trying to make that joke in is not the same political climate. It is a totally different, especially considering that the president of Mexico sued Google over that shit. See, this is how petty that is. Don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger. But that's how it went down. So it's just that this political climate, it's one of those things where it's like, there was more than one way to get that point across.
Well, one might say the political climate is heating up. Don't worry, I am actually going somewhere when I mention this. Governor Tim Walz was on a podcast where he said that he would kick any people that are mega or mega. I don't know what the fucking definition is. The Make America Great people. He could kick any MAGA. Thank you. He could kick any one of their asses. Yeah, Tim Walz said this. But he couldn't run as fast as them. That prompted Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs to say challenge accepted.
Oh gosh.
The Demon Kane has challenged Tim Walz, former vice president candidate, to a charity wrestling match. Proceeds would go to Tim's charity of choosing and Kane's. I can't believe I'm saying this. Kane's charity of choosing. For the charity match that it would be. It already got sponsors. It already raised a lot of money, but Tim Walz has yet to respond to Kane. What are your thoughts on our politicians getting into pro wrestling?
My question is, who's gonna yob?
Do you honestly think that Kane is going to have the blemish of having Tim Walz as taking an L to Tim Walz?
I mean, we've seen worse in this.
Who has Kane jobbed to that is worse than Tim Walz?
We've seen Johnny Knoxville beat Sami Zayn. Come on.
I mean, at least Johnny Knoxville is a physically able human being that does stupid shit.
Floyd Mayweather, all of 5'5", Floyd Mayweather beat a 7-foot Big Show.
True. But
we've seen a 50-year-old Snoop Dogg beat in his prime Miz.
I don't think anybody's debating that Snoop Dogg couldn't beat the Miz up. I mean, I feel like that's given. No?
Bullshit! If it was Snoop 95, debatable. Very, very honest. 2023 Snoop? Hell no.
So you're saying that Kane should take an L to Tim Walz?
That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Tim Walz no job, Kane no job. So who's jobbing? Or is it no DQ?
Double count out?
That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. It's not about, I could care less who wins or loses. I just know neither one of them gonna want a job.
Double count out.
Double DQ.
Double DQ.
Double DQ. See? That's all I'm bringing up. I'm just bringing that point up.
And Dr. Tom Pritchard is like, what the fuck did you get me into, Kane?
Yeah, no?
For anybody that doesn't know, they won a school together, so I'm sure that he's going to be involved in some way, shape, way, or form.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's wild ass shit. Anyways,
let's get into some good news. Wrestling Jesus, Diamond Dallas Page.
I thought you were talking about Seth Rollins. Anyway,
that's CrossFit Jesus. CrossFit Jesus. Different Jesuses. He got Abdullah the Butcher to walk again. Stand up. He's physically, he got him into a better physical place. And just fuck, man. Diamond Dallas Page doing the Lord's work, like I've been saying. Wrestling Jesus right there. No?
See, I mean, if there were, we told you, if there were ever a Warrior Award winner, that was it.
Forget Warrior Award. Let's take this to the Vatican. Let's get Diamond Dallas Page sainted. The first wrestling saint.
Saint DDP?
Saint DDP.
I could take it. Saint DDP.
Pope Francis, if you're listening, make it happen.
Well, he may as well be Pope DDP, but Pope D'Angelo might have something to say about that.
Nobody has a Pope. Yeah. Pope D'Angelo De Niro. But seriously, I'd like to see if there's like a wrestler that's blind and see if he could heal him to make him see again.
Well, he can have him come to my house and turn water into wine, and then we can go from there. We'll start. Let's start there, and then we'll continue on. Sounds like a deal to me.
Oh.
See, I'm reasonable.
You're reasonable when you're bribed with wine.
Hey, it's right around the corner from my house. What can I say?
we mentioned John Cena at the top of the show. Obviously, I think it was last 2 weeks ago, his promo on Raw. We mentioned the John Cena kid, John Cena singling him out. Um, the kid's face, completely dropped. It went viral, as most things do. And as you would figure, the kid did an interview. Um, and he said that he didn't take it too personally because he knew John Cena was in character. Um, he's okay and he doesn't have a problem with it. John Cena is still a role model and one of his favorite wrestlers.
Do you see my point? Point proven. My point has been proven. My son was the same way. When John Cena turned, at first he was crying his ass off and was like, "Man, this motherfucker." And then I had to break it down, Barney style, like why he did it. And he was like, "You know what? I feel him. I feel him." This feels like Kevin Owens was right all over again. Just saying. I ain't saying, but I'm just saying.
You know, you brought it up not too long ago. This shit wouldn't have happened if it was MJF. Even when MJF was a good guy, he was still an asshole. And if anything,
He's a dick through and through. At least he's some bona fide dick.
I mean, this motherfucker is giving the finger to kids in pictures. Like, he makes sure that if there was an inkling that you might actually like him, he's going to change your mind about it.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure you don't like him. That's for damn sure. He's like, fuck you.
But yeah, John Cena having the opposite effect.
I know. I mean, he's turning heel, still making make-a-wishes. You can't you see the backwardness of it all. You can't say fuck them kids while out here helping special needs kids. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. This is
half-ass nothing. Whole has everything.
This was like the worst heel turn in history. Like, it was such a soft.
I mean, it's not the worst heel turn. It's the worst follow-through on a heel turn in history.
I mean, you have John Cena turning heel and, trying to get the people to hate him, while Dominic Mysterio is like, hold my beer, bitch. I'm a heel that turned heel. And people hated me more after I turned on the heel that they liked.
Well, he just went from from brunette to blonde. Everybody knows blondes have more stuff.
I mean, he went from extra large to fun sized, I'd say.
I mean, we knew that was happening when Liv was like, they want girls like me. And I was like, Dominic, it's over. It's over, son. It's over. See?
Yeah. Dirty Dom.
At that moment, I knew he was going heel.
He was already healed. The people hated him.
It was at that point he knew he fucked up.
In more ways than one.
I mean, hey, that's the whole point. If you're gonna fuck up, not a. Don't downgrade. Went from a tattooed goth girl to a fun-sized blonde. Safe to say he made it.
How did we get to John Cena kid to fun-sized fun goals?
Because you said that John Cena had the worst heel turn, when in actuality he has the worst following heel turn.
And I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Um,
The execution was perfect. It was the follow up that fucked them over more than anything.
I mean, if that kid made a video where he was like crying and sobbing and was like, "Oh, John Cena was my hero and he, you know, he ruined my childhood and I'm mentally scarred from this as of now." Yeah, that would have worked pretty well. And if WWE was smart enough, they would have gotten ahead of that, asked this kid, "You got some acting chops," and shot it themselves. You know what I mean?
I mean, but I told you the only way that would have made sense is if he went and either A, punched that kid, or B, ripped the shirt right off off his. If he went to the kid and ripped the shirt off his back, that would have been freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Granted, it had to have been an actor, but whatever.
Yeah. Next time they saw him doing, Make-A-Wishes, him being an asshole to the Make-A-Wish kids.
Oh, no, bro, they got him as a heel, and you're like, for 25,000, you could have him. For 25 grand, you can have lunch with him as he accepts his lifetime achievement award. Like, bitch, like.
Well, I mean, heel or not,
fucking the game.
It's lifetime achievement, Kaliko.
You fucking the game up, son. What heel get lifetime anything?
Stephanie McMahon was getting the McMahon Award.
Oh, God, Jesus. Come on.
Oh.
She was never a lifetime heel.
I mean, she was pretty much heel her whole career. Most of her career.
Most of her, not all.
Well, I mean, there's not like a... Well, actually, there isn't a Freddie Blassie Award. I guess you're right. Heels don't necessarily get that recognition.
Been an asshole your whole life. Here's a lifetime achievement award.
Well, obviously the kid didn't have a problem with John Cena doing what he did. He understood the assignment that was given to John Cena. On the opposite end of that spectrum, AEW. Chris Jericho got into a heated argument with an 8-year-old.
With a kid. You see how this?
Yeah, and that kid understood the assignment in more ways than one. Like, sign this kid to a contract because he's going to be over in a couple of years. Did you see the moment between Chris Jericho and the kid?
I mean, the kid was talking shit to him. I mean,
the kid gave him the finger, told him that he
gave
was old,
him the business.
told him he was old and that he doesn't work out anymore. And the kid was ripped, too. At fucking 8 years old.
I mean... Jericho coming though. That rockin' Rager?
Yeah. The Cruise?
He used to be the DDP guy. I'm trying to figure out what happened. What happened?
Chris Jericho used to be a DDP guy?
Yes.
When was he the DDP?
He was the DDP yoga guy.
I mean, a lot of people do DDP yoga at this point, so I mean...
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. He was the DDP. He was one of the early guys on the DDP yoga.
Well, now kids are flipping him off. Obviously, John Cena should take a note from Chris Jericho.
I mean, Well, we know he's not going to sainthood anytime soon. So,
Saint Chris Jericho?
nah, no Saint Jericho.
No Saint Cena.
Saint Cena. Oh God, help us.
Yeah, no Saint Cena. Saint DDP, let's make it happen, Pope Francis. I believe that will conclude our coverage of the news and this episode as a whole. Join us next week as we preview and review whatever the hell's going on in pro wrestling next. I have no idea. Hopefully we'll have something to preview or review. I know AEW has a paid preview. We should probably get back on the New Japan wagon as the New Japan Cup is over. But until then, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, put on YouTube and Castbox. This is sponsored by Rogue Energy and Play One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Azael. This Wednesday as we interview Jake Braddocks, and every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Twitter, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko, and the New Japan final is actually. You want to know?
Yeah.
Shota Umino versus David Finlay.
That is a missable show, I'd say.
I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, wait a minute. Hey, just cannot today.
Maybe we won't be reviewing that.
I mean, that literally threw. That was everything we did think of. Well, you had Shota. You thought Shota. I said Shota would do it for the honor of Naito, if this was the case. But Jesus, I didn't think it was.
This was not on our bingo card.
Yeah, Finlay was nowhere near the bingo card. Yeah, he was.
And where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko while I'm trying to figure out how we missed David Finlay making the.
For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Were they that desperate for Finlay? Oh my God, Finlay. I would have took TJP. I mean, Baba Fale. I would have took Taichi. I would have not taken Yoshihashi.
Fuck Yoshihashi.
Fuck Yoshihashi. So to the day I die, as we log on.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.